I spent 100 hours researching the wackiest theories in One Piece, like the theory that this dude is actually Luffy's mother. Luffy might die at the end of One Piece. But here's an absurd sounding theory that might actually make sense. The first ever rival Devil Fruit user that Luffy fought in the story was Buggy the Clown all the way back at the beginning of One Piece. Buggy, who ate the Chop Chop fruit, was revealed to have known Luffy's mentor Shanks as a child and even served alongside him as a cabin boy on Goldie Roger, the Pirate King's ship. Throughout the entire series, as Luffy has fought tooth and nail to get stronger, Buggy has been failing upwards. After Luffy teamed up with him to break out of the prison Impel Down, Buggy was named a Warlord of the Sea by the world government, and now he's even become an Emperor of the Sea. But if Buggy keeps accidentally stumbling into higher and higher positions in the pirate world, there's only one more place to go after being called a Yonko. That's right. Even though Luffy will be the one to deserve the title of Pirate King the most, is it possible that the world will recognize Buggy as the Pirate King first? However, in all my research, that theory doesn't even come close to the craziest. That's right, there are 10 more theories even crazier than Buggy becoming Pirate King. Now this next one deals with who had Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi before Luffy did. Lots of people long assumed that it must have been Roger. After all, Roger shares a dream with Luffy, he was the original owner of the Straw Hat, and has a really similar personality to Luffy, so it would only make sense if Roger had the Gomu Gomu no Mi as well. But this theory says that it's not Roger after all, but Portgas de Rouge, who previously had the rubber fruit. And for those of you who need a reminder, Rouge is Luffy's brother Ace's mother. So she's noticeable for having been pregnant with Ace for 2 years before giving finally birth to him. Since the government was rounding up any baby that could have been Roger's offspring, she somehow kept Ace in her womb for 15 extra months. How is this possible? Well, according to this theory, she did it because she had a really stretchy uterus, I guess. Now, I know that Oda's series isn't exactly scientifically over-accurate, especially when it comes to the medical field, but this one seems like a stretch in more than one way. But moving on from this, we all know that Oda is a master of foreshadowing. Therefore, he'd never put anything in his series that wasn't relevant. So what was the Davy backfight arc all about, where the Straw Hats competed with Foxy on Long Ring Long Long Islands? It's an arc so disliked by some fans that some people mistakenly think that it's a filler. I used to think that, honestly. But nope, this is an actual canon manga arc. So will Davy backfights become important again at some point? Well, some people think that it will come back in a big way when the Straw Hats finally go head to head with, not Shanks, but the Blackbeard Pirates. Now, every One Piece theorist out there has their own dream matchup of which Straw Hat will fight with which Blackbeard Pirate. So imagine the god tier trolling that Oda could pull when Marshall D. Teach challenges Luffy to this high stakes, ridiculous game. Definitely more ridiculous than this next one. Cyborg Franky, the shipwright of the Straw Hats, built the 𝙬𝚎𝚙𝚢 after the old ship, the Going Merry, finally had to be retired after being terribly damaged in many voyages. But before he built this ship, it was revealed that Franky had hidden the blueprints to the ancient weapon Pluton, an all-powerful warship, for decades. He even went so far as to burn the blueprints to protect them from ever falling into the hands of the world's government. But with his technological genius, what if he actually transferred parts of the designs into his dream ship? Could the 𝙬𝚎𝚙𝚢 be hiding some crazy weaponry? Is Oda finally going to give us the ship-to-ship combat that we've always been waiting for? Okay, now these next 3 theories are all related, and they deal with one of the most theorized about powers in all of One Piece. In Dressrosa, Don Quixote Doflamingo revealed the secret hidden power of the Ope Ope no Mi, the fruit used by Trafalgar Law. Apparently, the fruit's immortality surgery ability can sacrifice the user's life in order to give someone else immortality. Doflamingo wanted Law to use this power on him, but thankfully Luffy saved the day and defeated the warlord first. Viewers have noticed though that a certain set of characters always appear to be the same age even when they appear in flashbacks. Usually when we see a flashback 20 or so years ago, we see the younger versions of Rayleigh or Garp or whatever other character, It's kind of always clear that they've aged since that point. However, the 5 Elder Stars, the Gorosei, always appear to look exactly the same. And we can also guess that the same is true for the secret leader of the worlds, Im-sama. So did several previous users of the Ope Ope no Mi sacrifice their lives to give the rulers of the world government eternal life? And if so, would it make sense that Doflamingo, a celestial dragon, would know about just that power? And so Law having this crazy power at all kind of begs the question, who's he going to use the immortality surgery on? I mean, it would be a crime against storytelling to introduce such an earth-shattering power and have it never be relevant again in the story. Well, one obvious person for him to use it on would of course be Straw Hat Luffy himself. Ever since the time skip, Law has been Luffy's greatest ally in the ongoing conflict against Doflamingo, Kaido, and Big Mom. And while technically the two are rivals for the One Piece, one could definitely imagine a scenario where Luffy's life is threatened, so Law sacrifices himself to save his ally. I mean, that would be absolutely heart-wrenching and possibly the saddest death in the entire series. After all, we've spent a lot more time with Law than we ever did with someone like Ace or Whitebeard. What do you think? After all the fake-out deaths we've had, do you think Oda would actually be bold enough to kill off a fan favorite like Law? And speaking of killing off characters, here's the most controversial one that Oda could possibly kill. At the end of the series, will Luffy die? Let's say that Law doesn't make the ultimate sacrifice to make Luffy immortal. We hate to say it, but Luffy has some pretty bad death flags for a main character. First off, he wants to be the Pirate King, and we all know what happened to the last Pirate King, a little thing called a public execution. Maybe Luffy's death will be what sets off a brand new pirate era. Secondly though, just think of all the times that it's been hinted at that Luffy is shortening his lifespan. When he uses Gear Second for the first time on Enies Lobby, CP9 hints that such a technique would be shortening the user's life overall. When he received his hormonal treatments from Ivankov, they also warned that it would take years off his life. And even super recently, during the fight against Kaido, after using Gear 5 for a while, Luffy appeared to transform into an elderly man temporarily. So just how much lifespan does Luffy really have left that he can shorten? And we've made it finally back to Crocomom, the crazy theory that we hinted at the beginning of this video. But wait a minute, if this is only number 8 of 11, so you mean that there are 3 more theories even wilder than this? Oh yeah, you should really stay tuned for the last 3. But first, here is Crocomom. This one is one of the most long-running, most memified, and weirdly believable theories in the entire fanbase. When Luffy helped Crocodile and Co break out of Impel Down, Emporio Ivankov convinced this former warlord to be on his best behavior by holding some deep, dark secret over him. And given that the person who knows Crocodile's secret is Ivankov, who can notably change people's genders with their hormonal powers, well, it's heavily speculated that Crocodile was actually born a woman and asked Ivankov to be turned into a man. But this fan theory takes this speculation even one step further. It kind of suggests that not only was Crocodile a woman, she's actually Luffy's mother. After all, Oda has stated that Luffy's mom is a character that he's drawn repeatedly before, so really this guess is as good as any other we have. Okay, now for our final 3 crazy theories that you probably didn't know existed, we have theories about the One Piece itself. Theory number 9 is that the One Piece isn't in the Grand Line at all, it's on the moon. Now listen, if this is the first time that you hear this, I promise that this makes more sense than you think. If you're an anime-only watcher, you might not realize just how important the moon is actually to the story of One Piece. Because in the manga itself, Oda often uses cover pages of chapters to tell side stories about what other characters are up to all around the world. And so after 𝙻𝚎𝚐𝚐 we got to see Enel fulfill his dream of traveling to the fairy world, aka the moon. And what was, and honestly still is shocking, was that the moon was actually inhabited. Enel ran into alien space pirates and an army of automatons. He even found the ruins of an ancient civilization that would appear to depict the winged races of the Sky Islands, together with images of what looks like to be the ancient weapons. So if the moon is connected to some mysterious ancient civilization, could it be possible that the greatest treasure, the One Piece, is there as well? Or maybe the One Piece is something else. Maybe it's nothing. There's no treasure at all. Now, This theory is practically as old as the entire series, with fans constantly joking that the One Piece would be the adventure itself, or the friends we made along the way. Oda has actually gone out of his way to state that the One Piece is a physical treasure, but knowing how hard Oda can troll if he wants, we wouldn't put it past him for that physical treasure to be a written note from Roger that says, the real treasure is friendship. Honestly, I know a few fans who would probably burn all their mangas if that were true, but the joke would be on them because the series would already be over. But I highly doubt that Oda would let us down. Instead, the One Piece treasure will probably be something completely awesome. Something like the One Piece is Luffy destroying the Red Line, the massive continent that circles the globe and separates the planet into 4 distinct oceans. Oh wait, why would destroying the Red Line be a treasure? Well, this would very literally make the world into one piece by uniting all 4 oceans into one. A couple of big hints for this theory are that Marijoa, the capital of the world government, is located on top of the Red Line. If Luffy ends up going to war against the world government and takes the fight to them, well, destroying Pangaea Castle might result in destroying the Red Line itself. In addition, when the crew was on Fishman Island, the fortune teller Madame Charlie prophesied that Luffy would destroy Fishman Islands. And since Fishman Island just happens to be located beneath the Red Line, directly beneath Marijoa, that would make sense. We also have hints such as the whale Laboon, the first character we met in the Grand Line, repeatedly bashing his head against the Red Line, trying to destroy it. So bringing down the Red Line would mean uniting the world and bringing the people together into one people, One Piece. Now, these were really just 11 of the wildest theories that I found after doing tons and tons of research, and I just discussed this one about Ors being the original Joy Boy that will blow your mind as well. So if you have more time, go check that one out right here.